Hey guys, and welcome back to Imagine Japanese, which is the tentative course name I've made for this course. And basically, I've been just doing it kind of like, on a week by week basis. So still in the works, still amateur in the works. So anyone supporting this course, thank you so much for your support. Hoping to actually help you understand Japanese. Um, Obviously I wanted to make like a video, probably about like a grammar point or something like that. I of course I do want to do that. But I thought it would be a little bit more fun to kind of talk about um a grammar, not a grammar thing, a more of imagination kind of thing again, to understand another example of how Japanese people think and why they think so. And I thought it was pretty cool. So we're gonna do another imagination thing to kind of get your gears going, kind of get your imagination moving. And it's pretty interesting for you veteran learners of why this grammar conjugation, or rather this word, uses this verb instead of the more common verb. So I think it's gonna be pretty cool. So today we're gonna be talking about catching a cold. Catching a cold. Let's get our brush out here. So catching a cold. Catching a cold, which in Japanese is kaze. If I can write this thing, because I forgot how to write kanji, so I'll just have my phone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bug. A bug inside a table. And then I've never written this kanji in my life before, but I'm going to try it right now. Like that. Okay. So this is kaze, which is written like this. Kaze. So for those of you who are veterans, who knows what kaze means? It means a cold, right? So we have two kanji here, and this kanji over here means wind. So wind. And this kanji over here means wicked or evil, I guess. So let's understand what kaze actually means. So for us, it's a common cold, right? It's just a cold. It's just somebody who is sick, and it's just like, oh, I'm just sick. It's a pretty bad feeling. It's a pretty bad feeling, okay? But again, we're going to be making our imaginations work. And we want to understand why they say this. But the word for catching something is kakaru. Do. And if you actually look up the kanji for kakaru, to catch a cold, all right, to take a resource, to come under a contract or have started to get something, we know that the kanji is actually not the one you're thinking of. It's actually this kanji. So I might have to rewrite it somewhere here. Let's make a new one. Fuck you. Let's make a new one. Sorry for my language. It's just, yo, Vince, I'm working here. Okay. So the kanji for kakaru, okay, to get sick, for this verb is this one right here. 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry, not 1, 2, 3. Oh my god, guys, Jesus. 1, 2. 1, 2, okay, and then fish stick, and then a turkey like this. Okay, so this is the kanji for kakaru, and this kanji actually has the meaning of catching something, to catch, to get, catch, or get, and that's what this means. This is annoying. You guys gotta stop messaging me while in the middle of something. Okay, to catch or get something. And this is probably a relatively new kanji. Let's just imagine in our world that's a new kanji. But when you say there is a cold, when you have a cold, kaze, we'll go back to the kanji again. Practice our kanji really quick. Oh my god, can I even write this thing? I think it's like that. Wait, I forgot, guys. I don't fucking remember. I don't remember this shit. Oh, right. It's like this. Kaze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Kaze, right? Which means bad wind. Kaze o. You got a guy riding a horse. O hiku. Wow, why would they write hiku? Does anybody know what this means? This means pull. So bad wind. The wind of evil. Wind of evil is pulled. Now, why would you pull something? What does that even mean? What? So what? If we let's just imagine kaze, and it's tied to a rope like this or something, and then you're like, and you're just pulling it. This doesn't make any sense, especially when the English translation or the new or for anything is kakaru, right? Which is to catch. If I remember how to write it, to catch something, right? You catch a cold, like the cold. There's a cold, and then it lands in you, and then you catch it, and then you become sick, right? That's usually what it means. But why do we say pull? Doesn't matter what you pull a cold in. Well, you gotta have to like kind of change perspective here and understand what pull actually means. So if we actually look up the word hiku, it means to play, to pull, to draw back, to catch a cold. But we already know it's catching a cold in modern dictionary, but we want to understand why. So to pull something. Okay, so actually one of my colleagues told me about this, and it's pretty cool. So just because I don't remember the name, I can't remember for the life of me what the name was. But let's just imagine in old Japan. We're in old Japan. Okay, we're in old Japan like this. There's an old guy, well, he's a young guy at his time. Ancient Japan, and let's imagine they're very, very simple people, okay? This is ancient Japan. There's like no smartphones, there's no iPhone. Very, very simple people in our imaginary world. They're not stupid, but, they're just, they don't know what's going on here. They don't have the, like before, they don't have any of that fun stuff of like science and stuff like that. They just know good and evil. So let's say, and they believe in Shintoism and, and they're the gods and everything. So there's the good, and the bad. Can I still write bad? I forgot how to write it. I think it's like this or something like that. I forgot. Bad. Okay, let's just call it bad. And then basically, there's two kind of zones. So there's good and there's bad. So for us to understand this, let's take a look at the kanji again. I'm getting good at writing this. Kaze, right? Which means wicked evil. The wicked wind. The evil wind. So there's actually, I forgot what it was called. Let's just call it the evil wind. So Japanese people pretty much believe that there's good air and bad air, or the forces of good and the forces of evil. And basically what would happen is if you got sick, that means you had something bad. It's bad, right? There's something bad happening, right? There's something definitely wrong, which means there's evil within you. There's an evil spirit or there's an evil air that has entered your body. So they imagine that from this evil, let's say evil cloud, that if I can change color here, let's change it to like this. In this evil cloud of darkness, okay, this evil cloud of kaze, okay, or evil malicious wind, it enters your body. It enters your body. And that is why you get sick. Because this evil wind, I think it was called Akuji or Anji Kanji, something. Somebody can quote me. I just can't remember what the name was. Imagine that this evil air, this evil wind is entering your body. And now you might be thinking, well, shouldn't it be kaze o haita? It should be entered. But we're using pull in a kind of, you got to think of the perspective in a reverse perspective. You got to think that everything is attracted to you. So your body is essentially pulling in this evil wind. And maybe, let's say in our world, maybe whether or not this is culture collect or not, let's say that, karma, or if you do a bad thing, then your body will pull in bad things because you are attracting badness by being a bad person. So only bad people get sick or something like that. We want to try to imagine our own story. So this evil wind, I cannot remember the name, but the evil wind, the malicious wind, the kaze, the cold, the common cold has been pulled into my body. My body has pulled in the evil forces, the evil spirits, the malicious air, the malicious wind. We can see that here, the malicious wind. My body has pulled in the malicious wind. Kaze o hita. My body has pulled in the malicious wind of the evil forces, good and evil. God is not protecting me. Kami-sama is not protecting me from the evil wind. And my body has somehow pulled in all this evil air. which is why I have caught the cold. Now, you might be wondering, then why don't they just say hiku for all the other ones? Let's imagine, I'm not sure of the actual reason, and maybe we can do a fact check, but kakaru, right? Remember? Oopsies. Kakaru, right? Let's imagine that in ancient Japan, they had kaze hiku. They only had simple kanji back then. And then, as time went on and the Dutch came and gave them the medicine and all that stuff like that, they kind of developed their own, Japanese developed their own kanji over time, right? They're not always using Chinese kanji. They kind of developed their own as well. So let's just imagine that they invented their own new kanji, kakaru, to catch something, to catch, this thing here is your soul is being caught in a cage, and then you catch something. You catch this disease. And why would you only use that for like influenza kakaru or kekkan kakaru, like tuberculosis and stuff like that? Let's just imagine the Japanese people, back in the old days, Samurai Jack didn't really know what was going on. He didn't know about medicine. So he just thought everything and anything was a kaze, was just the cold. I don't know what it is. If I'm sick, I have the kaze. I have the malicious wind. The malicious wind has entered my body, or has been pulled in by my body. That's all he knew, okay, in his ancient world. And then they taught them about all these new things. Oh, there's something called influenza. There's something called something else. There's something like this. And by the time they learned that, they already had a new verb, New Japan. I don't know, 1700 year Japan. We're making our own story of this new disease. So like, we're not going to use, we know that it's not evil wind. We know that this is an actual blood disease. It's actually like blood. It's something to do with our immune system, germs and stuff like that. It's not necessarily evil wind by the gods. It's just, it just happens in the natural part of the human body. So they use the new modern kanji for new modern studies, new modern science, for the modern Japanese salary man who now knows that getting a cold is not an evil wind. It's not evil wind. It's just catching something. You just catch something. It's not a big deal. We just catch a disease because we have modern science, modern kanji, modern Japanese man has modern solutions. That thing by Dave Chappelle. So the modern salaryman knows that we catch disease, and it's not an evil thing that you pull in from the body from a abstract sense. We know that there's a scientific backing behind it all now in this imaginary world, okay? In this imaginary world. But let's go back and review that really quick. So Japanese people in our imaginary world, whether it's true or not, probably is kaze o hiku. There's an evil wind, a malicious wind, quite literally, is being pulled in by your body because that's all you really knew back in the day. Right? And there's good and bad in this old world that we all knew. And with the new kanji, kakaru, with the new kanji that we all know now, the modern kanji, the modern Japanese man knows that it is not necessarily an evil wind that is making you, or probably is, and technically it probably is, like wind, airborne diseases, but it's not necessarily an evil wind sent by the devil to infect you or let your body pull in all this evil energy, bad energy. No, it's just catching something with our modern kanji, our modern studies, and modern science. And that is another way for you to imagine Japanese and understand how they think. I hope you all enjoyed their lesson about kaze o hiku and why it makes sense to say kaze o hiku. Hopefully, the next time you catch a cold in this season, you understand why we say hiku instead of kakaru. And only for that one, because it's such an ancient disease. It's a disease that we've never cured over the thousands and thousands of years the human race has been involved. The cold has always been around. So that's why we want to separate it from the new diseases that have come up. So let's think about like AIDS or something. Like AIDS is like pretty recent. It's like 100 years old or something like that. That's pretty recent. So we can use the modern kanji. So anything that's pretty much not the cold, you're going to use hiku. You could use it for influenza, but we have a new term for influenza now. You could say kaze is influenza, but in modern Japan, they don't make the difference. I mean, they make the difference between influenza and kaze, so that is something that is telling. Because influenza is also written in katakana. If I write it here. Influenza? How do you write N? Enza. Influenza. That's probably this way, isn't it? I don't know. One of them. Influenza. That's pretty much gaidaigo right there. That's pretty much a borrowed word, so it's pretty telling when the Japanese learned about influenza, right? So modern disease, modern kanji, modern Japanese man. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed that lesson. It was pretty fun. It was a pretty fun idea, and it was such a mind-blowing thing for me to understand Japanese things. I think it's gonna be pretty cool. Like this course as it develops over time is like we're just gonna be unraveling. It feels like we're gonna be just like unraveling kind of the little mysteries in Japanese that we don't quite understand, and you know, I think it is going to be a little bit more fun, of a kind of a unique take on learning Japanese. Of course, I want to do kind of teach like regular grammar and stuff, so difficult grammar, but I want to kind of do the interesting things that always kind of confused me, and like why do they think that? Like, there's a whole bunch of things I want to do, so it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun to be able to understand some of the little more strange verbs that don't quite make sense in English translations, or even as an English-speaking person in our culture. So I think that'd be cool. So we learned about the mosquito, we learned about the cold, and then maybe next time we'll learn about why thoughts are put into a cloud, or why cheating on someone is a floating feeling. So you could probably make the inference from there and study up those words. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. My name is Maydaysan from the Maydaysan Show. Hope you enjoyed this lesson of Imagine Japanese. See you next time.